I don't read lectures. From 1996 to 1997, I served as a Fulbright Scholar in Journalism and Mass Communication in the Central Asian Republic of Kyrgyzstan. One issue settled at my first meeting with Anisa Borobayeva, the Dean of the Journalism faculty at Kyrgyz State National University in Bishkek, was the 3 courses that I would teach in fall semester, but not without some initial confusion. Какие лекции вы читаете? Anisa asked. The interpreter translated literally, which lectures will you be reading? I bristled and launched into a self-righteous diatribe about how I did not read lectures. As a teacher, my role was to provide students with basic information and resources, and then challenge them to think, ask questions, and conduct their own independent research. There would be in-class activities, open discussions, and debates. Anisa listened patiently and told me that, of course, I was free to conduct my classes in whatever way I saw fit. The phrase chitat lektsii, the interpreter added, was simply how you described the courses you were teaching. I wasn't so sure. I'd already seen teachers in action, and most of the time they were standing at lecterns reading their lectures. The students sat quietly at long wooden desks and took notes. Occasionally a student would ask a question, but it was almost always to clarify something the teacher had said. The material presented was never disputed. There was no class discussion because there was nothing to discuss. The teacher had said it, so it must be true. Teaching became the process of delivering knowledge and memorizing it. On tests and examinations, students repeated what they'd learned without thinking much about it. Rote learning is fine if you need to learn vocabulary or recite poetry, but it does not have a place in a field such as journalism and media that's supposed to encourage critical thinking. I told my students that, apart from some basic concepts, I didn't care what they remembered from my brief lectures. It was their ability to analyze and apply the knowledge that was important. Still, it was difficult to combat the passivity that the chitat lektsii tradition engendered. In the second semester, I taught a course titled Contemporary Issues in Journalism for fourth-year students. I encouraged them to debate ethical issues such as conflict of interest, faking and staging, and invasion of privacy. Some asked questions and offered thoughtful comments, but at least half the class seemed bewildered when I asked them what they thought. They felt uncomfortable discussing issues about which there were apparently no correct and clearly defined answers to be regurgitated on the test. These students were in their final year, and they all said they wanted to be journalists, but most seemed remarkably unreflective, lacking in intellectual curiosity. If they could not ask questions in the non-threatening environment of the classroom, I wondered how they would perform in an interview or a press conference. Maybe they would just listen to the lecture and write it down.